Dero, even at this late stage of his career, Albert Pujols can still dominate left-handed pitching. He's been doing it all season against lefties.
Roflo, I was sitting on the plane last night, and I was saying to myself, he's got 689 homers. He's 11 away. Does he get to 700 before the year ends? Probably not in 51 games, so I have an idea. Manny Machado talked about at the All-Star game and throughout the better part of the first half that we're not paying enough homage to Albert on his way out. And he's kind of right. I mean, I remember Chipper Jones got the send-off, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, Jeff Bagwell, surfboards, paddleboard, all different stuff everywhere they went. So I'm thinking to myself, he's a weapon, okay? He is a weapon off the pine against left-handed pitching. There is no doubt about it. So does he come back for one more year next year to truly get the proper send-off at every visiting park to pay homage to one of the greatest hitters of all time and get to 700 homers? Just a thought, okay? Let's dive into why he's been so successful this year, because he's absolutely hammered lefties. Bring that back to me. 2001, I want to take you through, because the big thing with Albert is from the lower half down. We'll talk about the swing path and why he's been so successful against the lefties. But what I noticed when I got a chance to play with him is everything was from the ground up. He trusted his lower half, and he was so big and strong that he didn't have to create to grab power. He could just sit in a chair, lean his foot up, and destroy the baseball to all fields. 2001, watch his lower half. Boom, just transitioning off his backside. 2011, same thing, 3-homer game in the World Series. Now he goes to Anaheim, and you start to see, rack that back for me real quick in Anaheim. You start to see the plantar fasciitis. You start to see him trying to fight, bring that back knee in, trying to create some leverage in his lower half, shortening up a little bit. And it zaps your power. Then he goes to a leg kick in St. Louis. Now he's really feeling himself. But the one thing, pause this real quick. S-Rod, let's start it off. Career ranks. Bring it up. We're seeing one of the greatest hitters of all time. Greatest right-handed hitter of my generation, no doubt about that. Look at it. Games, 5th, hits, 9th, homers, 5th, RBIs, 2nd, total bases, 3rd. He's about to get on Stan Musial here. Bring me up what he does against lefties. And the reason I say he's such a weapon for Oliver Marmol and the St. Louis Cardinals. Take a look at this. You got Paul Goldschmidt at the top of the food chain, but the OPS leaders versus left-handed pitching this season. And he's right in the mix with the Austin Rileys and the Jose Altuves. So let's dive into what he's able to handle them and then focus on the fact that against right-handers, he has struggled. And I think he's made a conscious effort to say, I'm going to get a little closer to the dish, and I am going to pull lefties. The one thing I was able to do, and I'm not even getting close to comparing myself to Albert Pujols, but the one thing I was able to do was hit a left-handed pitcher in the big leagues. And the reason I felt like I was able to, pause this real quick, and I think it works for Albert as well. When you think of being in the box and you think of how can I get beat inside, or why do I get beat inside, and you think of a guy standing on the mound, the right-hander to me felt like he was creating and able to get that ball a little bit in quicker than a lefty coming from, per se, the other side of the mound. So I felt like I had just that split second longer where you couldn't get inside. And if I kept my bat path clean and I stayed and I didn't chase like the John Lesters of the world, the Al Leiters of the world, if I didn't chase in off, my bat path was clean enough because I was thinking of right center that I could get you out here and take you for damage. Whereas a right-hander, when you're diving in, I just felt that angle could always beat me to the spot a lot quicker than a left-hander could. So I walked to the plate with supreme confidence, knowing that I couldn't get beat in if I controlled the strike zone, as opposed to right-handers. And that's what he's doing. He's on the plate. He is almost daring lefties to come into him. He is thinking pull, and these balls are destroyed. That's the other thing. These are no wall scrapers. That's the facade of Big Mac land. The next ball goes 443. just absolutely crushed. As opposed to when right-handers, 94. Run that back for me real quick. He's not thinking. Back in the day, Albert would have probably been thinking, I'm going dead center against him. I can leave down the right field line if I have to. Run this. He's getting into a leg kick now. 443 feet to left center. Just absolutely crushed. And I want to bring up the heat maps because something's interesting about Albert, too. Bring it up real quick for me. Okay, so lefties, here's a perfect example, right? The off-speed stuff, they're trying to come down and in, and if they miss, he's got his sight set dead center. I'm thinking here, oops, boom, I'm just dropping the head on a pitch right there like he did against Ashby. Lefty fastball, this is from the catcher's perspective, so I'm Albert right here. Sitting middle, maybe he gets a little ticky closer to the plate and turns that middle away into middle. Bring up the right-handers. Look at them. They just bury him down and away. So maybe, even though his legs are a little bit more back under him than they might have been in Anaheim, he's not looking to drive the ball like he was in 01, 02, 03 to right center. He's playing a different game. He knows his advantages and disadvantages at this stage in his career. And that's why he's having such a tough time with right-handers, especially righties with off-speed. They just kind of that old Braves philosophy. We don't think you can beat us opposite field with power, so we're going to stay out there. But lefties, he's been dominant. So I just think, what a great story, and you can run this. I do think number 5 needs to consider coming back next year. I want to see him get to 700 homers. Who's to say he can't get hot in the last 51 games and hit 11? But he is a presence. You can tell all the young guys. Dylan Carlson talked about this was his idol growing up as a kid. Now he's getting a chance to play with him. Juan Yepes follows him around like a puppy dog. So, he brings so much to the table. To see that yesterday was just super awesome.
I find it fascinating that after 22 years, he still cares enough to tinker, right? Still cares enough.
You have to, Lauren. He's, like you said, 42 years old.
Wow.
They will face
his cakes ain't working like they used to.